1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's go!
Hey, y'all, it's time for the Roger the Wild Child Show. Roger the Wild Child. Here we go again with another honky-tonk and kickin' episode of the Nashville edition of the Roger the Wild Child Show with your host, Roger the Wild Child, along with his sidekicks, musician Patrick James, diva rocker Tiana Woods, and want to know what's the nitty-gritty from Music City? Elise Harper has your Nashville music news. Yeehaw! Let's do this.
It's Roger the Wild Child Show!
All right, guys, welcome to Roger the Wild Child Show. We are here. Woo!
Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys, welcome to Roger the Wild Child Show. Is that you?
That's my phone. You? Sharing it out.
Patrick is the Roger the Wild Child's biggest fan. I love it.
Look at me, man.
You get a badge.
Am I going to get double verified, dude, or what?
You're right? Yes. You get the Roger the Wild Child badge.
This is the kind of energy we need. Go.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Turn your volume down.
I don't know why it was up. I had it down, and now, you know, I have it in a little holder.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's been a few weeks since we've been on the air. A couple weeks ago, Patrick and I were in Vegas.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, we were.
We had a blast, didn't we?
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. I mean, we had a great show. We had a surprise visit from Kid Rock. I mean,
yes, we did. That was pretty bad.
Fun.
Yes, and you missed it all.
I know, but I did check in for a second in a PF Chang's bathroom.
You did. She did.
We did a live broadcast from John Bon Jovi's bar.
That was fun.
That's so fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, so we had some cool experiences of course, and you know, doing Roger the Wild Child show live at the Troubadour. We had a nice turnout for that. So, you know, thank you for those people over there. That, you know, yeah, they catered us really well, and yeah, I love the stage, the lighting, the sound system. I mean, it's a great venue. So
yeah, it was really great. It was a really good venue and a good time and a good vibe, and yeah, it was overall a great run. We had a lot of fun, but the first night that was fun.
Oh, absolutely. First night we get there, and I go, let's go. My friend Darren Chef, his brother Lauren is performing on stage playing bass at Loser's Bar. So we go over there and show up, and all of a sudden Kid Rock shows up.
Did he sing "Ba with a Ba"?
No, I wish he did, but he sang all summer long.
Oh, okay.
And then who else showed up?
There was quite a
Corbin.
few people. Yes.
And Riley Green.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had all three of those people pop up and do a song.
Nice.
It was good.
Oh, those are the best. The unofficial jam night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Broadway was electric, man. It was pretty good. We had some weather issues, but everybody weathered the storm, you know.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you guys had a successful event, you know?
Yeah. Next time you better be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your little.
Yeah. I called you last week. Did you get my message? I forgot to call you back because I got so busy, but I did call you last week.
You called me?
I did. We'll connect this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I know
right.
I was not rated on your call list there.
Oh my God, we can stop it.
I was like, all right.
No.
I'm messing with you. I
will always take a call from Patrick James.
I know how busy it gets. I know how it gets.
Of course. She's got priorities in her life, Patrick.
I hear you, bro.
Music, keeping human being alive, keeping myself alive.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Uh,
Hey, how warm is it on the West Coast?
it's actually not that hot. Everybody else is having the heat wave. We're
Yeah,
not getting it yet,
yeah.
but it's gonna get there. Believe me, we're
Yeah,
not.
we're getting one on the East Coast, but I'm okay with it, man. It's been shitty weather for like 2 months. I mean, I go back. I'm in Florida a lot too, so I'm all right with it. But
Yeah.
it's hot. It's hot, but I would prefer it being hot a little bit. It's rained like the past 9 weekends on the East Coast here.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been
And
shitty
then
weather.
down in Texas, it's like 90s and 80s for the high, but it's all humidity. So,
Yeah,
people say, I'll go back and forth to Vegas. In Vegas, it's 90s and 80s, and it feels good. But when it's 90s and 80s in Texas, it's like a death pit. And it's like, you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, have you heard of humidity? When I first moved to Texas, everybody was like, have you experienced our summers yet? I'm like, oh no, I have. Now I say to other people, you coming to Texas? Wait, you haven't experienced our summers yet, have you? Now it's my turn to turn the table here.
See, that's how I feel about Vegas. I don't like dry heat, but I love humidity. So I'm a weirdo.
do you?
You are a weirdo.
Yeah, you are a weirdo. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like humid? You like it hot?
I do. Yeah. I like to go outside in shorts and a tank top in a rainstorm,
I mean, I do too. That's
Yeah, who doesn't?
fine. Yeah, who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
I don't mind that. At least it's raining.
Yeah.
Humidity's tough, man. Humidity. Doesn't that kill you as a vocalist? Don't you get like stuffed up with the humidity?
No, I love it. I find it lubricates my voice.
Probably
I love
bet.
it.
Probably bet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's
probably.
why I don't like performing in desert climates, because it dehydrates my voice and I have to drink a lot of water.
Yes, you
And then
do.
you're going on stage and you have to piss the entire time.
Yeah. Do a drum solo. Hold on.
Exactly.
Guitar solo.
Give them a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So Patrick,
That's why I like humidity.
Patrick, you got some music for us.
Yeah, I just got into the studio with this, man. I just recorded it last night. I wrote it. I actually wrote this when I was in Nashville, the day before I met up with you.
Really?
Part of my work workload there. So I just tracked it last night. It's called Every Little Nightmare. I'll just give it a rip here. I just did a production version of it and an acoustic version of it. There's going to be 2 different versions of it. One's going to be a duet version, and the other's going to be like an acoustic male kind of female vocal thing. That's the reason why I called you. So here's a little preview.
Patrick, get closer to the microphone.
Every night of prayer, can't you feel the protection? It's in my heart, my head. Every little love I lost, how and day. Wow, I'm running through the fire, we're trying not to fall away. Cause every little nightmare's gotta see the light of day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I won't give up. I will be there waiting, ready for your touch. Give me a little nightmare, every little love I lost. Oh, and say, wow, I'm running through the fire, trying to find my way. 'Cause every little nightmare's gonna see the light of day. See the light of day.
Nice.
Awesome tune.
I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
the melody too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you a rough. It's got like 2 versions of it. This
Okay.
could be something that we pop out. I
Yeah.
think it's like dope. It's like, so I was gonna kind of do like a country pop rock mainstream kind of thing, but it's kind of teetering on. It can go either way. So if I put pedal steel and fiddle in it, it'll be a country pop tune. If I
Yeah.
keep it the way it is, it'll be like a mainstream kind of tune. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, man. I'm pretty excited. About
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
that-
definitely.
I was born in Nashville, so
Sweet.
There we
at Sony ATV Music Publishing, because every little nightmare has got to
Yes.
see the light of day, right?
There you
Right.
go.
All right, guys. All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna bring in our next guest. She is an award-winning singer-songwriter whose journey spans from South Wales to the heart of country music in Nashville. She's performed globally, shared the stage with Carrie Underwood. She topped charts in 2024 and continues to inspire her growing fan base known as the Dreamers. Please welcome Caitlin Mae. Hello, Caitlin.
Woo! What's up, Caitlin?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we are
pleasure.
so
See that?
excited to finally have you.
I'm already giving you a thumbs up because
Yes.
you kicked ass as a troubadour. So I just wanted to.
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
There you are.
Thank you so
you did a
much.
beautiful job. You did a
I-
beautiful job. You sounded amazing.
Thank you so much. And there was the second time, like 2 years in a row, that at that exact time of year, I had a sinus infection because of
Totally.
allergy-related issues.
Mm.
Is
And
it humidity?
yeah, like not being from here and everything being different, like the allergens and like the weather and the heat, like all the things.
Isn't it
just
terrible when you're
combined.
traveling and you're going through all that, right, Tiana? You know, it's like
Yeah.
you just got to suck it up and just do it. But you sounded beautiful, so
Thank you.
that's the
Yeah, you kicked ass,
end
by the
result.
way.
She fucking killed. You killed it, girl.
Thank you so much.
That's great.
I couldn't hear myself, so I was praying. I was
I
like,
know. I couldn't either, but you sounded great.
Yeah.
Listen, when you know you got it together, if you doesn't matter if you hear the monitor or not, except when you're singing harmonies with somebody, they better be on. But other than that, you know, you could just weather the storm, and you sounded beautiful. So I'm
oh,
looking
thank
forward to
you
hear
so
you.
much.
Looking forward to hear you again. Right now, you got to hear her. She's phenomenal.
She is phenomenal. Now, just Caitlin, just you know, you grew up in South Wales, but you found your love of country music in Florida. Tell us about your story.
Yes. So when I was 2 years old, my parents bought a vacation home in Florida, and once a year it would be our tradition typically to go there for Christmas time. My mum's birthday is on Christmas Day, so it was like a double all around celebration. And I feel like I mean I grew up on the music that was playing on the radio there as well as back home, but I fell in love with country and I found it in the USA. And I would go home and I was so young, I didn't even know it had a name. I just knew that I loved it, and I knew I loved how I felt when I was there, and that I wanted to move to the US someday. I didn't know Nashville existed yet. I was so small. But I knew I wanted to be there. When I found out Nashville was a place on earth, I was like, yes, that's where I want to go. But I would spend like my whole rest of the year back in the UK craving the music that you didn't typically hear on the radio there. It's a little bit of a different story now because country music is one of the fastest growing genres in the UK. So
In
you
the world.
hear it
In the world, yeah.
Yeah.
in the world, yeah, it's so
world, yeah,
true. Yeah, but I mean, people that I went to school with and in high school and even earlier, they at the time probably had never seen a pair of cowboy boots in person, and definitely wouldn't have dreamt of buying a pair and wearing them. But now all those people I went to school with, and I was the only one wearing cowboy boots, they're all wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats, and they go to concerts. And so it's a big deal there now, even compared to just like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So where in Florida? I'm curious. Where?
It was like Haines City, close to like the parks, like Disney and
Close to Disney, like Kissimmee kind of area,
Orlando.
the Orlando area.
yeah, like yeah.
Yeah. Because I have a place in Fort Lauderdale, so
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Florida's a big melting pot. It's a melt. Plus, you probably couldn't. It was probably a perfect time to get out of the bad weather and come down
Yeah.
south, right? So you're like, yeah, you're on the beach, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
close to, not a lot of beaches down there, but still, you're in the warm weather, you know.
Yeah, and like to us, that was scorching weather.
Yeah.
But to everybody living in Florida, they had their blankets out and they're like, this is cold. I'm like, this is cold.
Great.
So
The good thing about
everybody-
Florida is it's got a big melting pot of music. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're fine.
There's a lot of tourists. You know, that's the one thing about down south, especially there, is that it's a big culture. There's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of different, vibes. There's a little bit of everything there. So that's kind of, that's a really good thing. But
Yeah,
go ahead,
and
Roger.
even my neighbors, because where we lived, we had the best neighbors, or I say lived, where we vacationed, we had the best neighbors, and they were like family, and they really encouraged my love of music. And that was from such a young age. Like nobody could have known that that was the path I was going to remain on. And they were so supportive, and we would have like neighbor house parties, whether it was at our place or theirs, and they would get me to perform like I was the entertainment, but I was like 6, 7, 8.
Awesome.
But I felt the love, and
Yeah.
I just wouldn't change it for the world.
Feel free to comment or ask questions for Caitlin. Jump in the chat room and let us know. We'll get your questions up, and she'll be able to help answer those for you. All right. So you can interact, be part of the show. This is about you guys, okay? And not just the artist. It's about you guys being able to interact with Caitlin's fan base, with Caitlin. So your fan base is the Dreamers. What brought that? Where did you come up with that?
So my first ever released single was called The Dream. I have written songs for as long as I can remember, but that one was the first song on my releasing journey, I guess. And I was, I think, 15 when I wrote it, 16 when I released it, and I knew nothing about releasing music into the world. And as far as I knew, you just put a song out there and people loved it or they hated it. It did well or it did nothing. And I had no idea about promotion and marketing and, sending these songs off to radio. I just thought, well, people love it. And then one day you hear it on the radio. Nobody teaches you all the nuances and the ins and outs of the industry, especially since I was the first person in my family in the music industry at all. So they just learned everything alongside me. And it was a wild journey. And I mean, the best kind of journey, because I got to be surrounded by my favorite people, and my parents were so supportive of every single dream that I've ever had.
Yeah.
But it was a really crazy time. And that song was actually meant for my dreamers to, before they were called dreamers, to line dance to, because people kept saying, we want to line dance to your music. So I thought, instead of covering a song that they could line dance to, I should write a song that they could line dance to. And it ended up being used in line dance classes, and people would choreograph dances to it, which was so cool and beyond my wildest dreams. I'd never really thought about it, and it was just something personal I wanted to share with my listeners. And then I realized that I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. I think there's a dreamer in all of us, and we're on this journey together. So that was the perfect name.
That's awesome.
Bravo. Well said. Well said.
So what was it
So
like?
What are you going to play for us? Can you play that song?
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. This one is called Your Truck. I may have played that night. I can't remember if I
All
played
right,
this
don't
one,
worry.
but it's a
I-
truck song.
Okay.
I
And,
didn't get to hear it, so
and this one is really a goodbye that I didn't get to say, and so I wrote it instead. And there was somebody in my life that I thought would be in my life for the long haul, and it turned out they were just meant to be there for a chapter. And
Yeah.
the last place that I saw them and did not get to say that goodbye was in their truck. So I wrote this one, and it's called Your Truck.
Mm.
Hey, I heard you dating her. She's ready to settle down, and I could be what you need. Too busy being jaded. And I know I said a lot, but the words that never left my mouth are the ones I was really feeling. Then it got to leaving. On a late night came pick me up in your F-150 with the radio way up. Moving on, you were done, and I'm still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? But if I'm always stuck in that truck, in your truck. Don't you know that smile of yours still lives on in my head? And now you're gone, and I'm looking for a reason to let you go with the season. In a year, well, I still miss you like I miss you now. But I hold on, 'cause it's like pouring whiskey on a wound and it kills me. Late night came, pick me up in your F-150 with the radio. Moving on, you were done, and I was still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? Always stuck in that truck. In that truck, in your truck, lifting me in the dust. I can't complain. You knew I couldn't be tamed. You wanted safe. I was a flight risk till you up and flew away. Late night came to pick me up in your F-150 with the radio head up. Moving on, you were done, and I'm still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? But if I'm always stuck in that truck, in that truck, in your truck, to me in a dust of truck.
I don't know what I fell in love with more, your singing voice or your accent.
There you go. Boom.
I love it.
That was great. That was beautiful.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yes. Amazing
You
song.
got this like Sarah McLachlan thing going on, man, and I mean that in a good way. So
Really? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I used to sing, like, I used to cover Angel all the time,
I can hear it.
that song. And that was my parents' favorite song that I covered, and I fell in love with it from the first time that I heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Well, she's an amazing artist. So
I feel like you need to do a country cover of that.
Right?
Yes.
countrify it.
Yeah, I never
There you
had.
go.
That
Boom.
would be so cool.
That'd be
That
sick.
would be very cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spectacular idea.
Yeah.
Next
I have
single.
to ask you, what was it like performing for Carrie Underwood?
That was such a dream come true, and it really was a whirlwind because I had never been to a concert before, and my parents bought tickets to go see Carrie Underwood, but it was a surprise. I wasn't supposed to know about it. And just weirdly enough, by chance, 2 weeks before the concert was supposed to happen, I actually got invited to a Pink concert because my auntie couldn't take the ticket. They just had a baby, and so I went with my uncle. And so that ended up being my first concert. And then 2 weeks later, the Carrie Underwood concert happened. But when my parents bought the tickets, they saw that you could audition to sing with her, and that was a huge opportunity. And they felt like they couldn't keep it a secret from me because I would be devastated not to have even given it a shot. So
Right.
Yeah.
they told me like just enough, just what I needed to know to audition. There were still some surprises that they had, but I just knew what I needed to know. So I did an audition tape, and you had to put it on YouTube, and that was how they accessed it. And I did it, and I thought, once it's done, you just don't think about it, right? Because otherwise you'll be like waiting for the moment where you get the call or you don't get the call. And so I did that, and I actually had to rap because it was her song, The Champion. So, and I'm a country singer, so I was like, well, we'll do it. We'll do it. And it was such a fun experience, even just the audition process. And they said you would find out 1 week before the concert. And 1 week came and 1 week went, and we didn't hear anything. So I just assumed I didn't get it. And I thought, well, if I can't get this one thing, this country opportunity that comes to Wales, I
Yeah.
live in Wales. I
Right.
was like, then what can I get? And so I just kind of thought, well, we'll forget about it. I didn't rehearse the song after that because I assumed I wouldn't need to actually perform it. And then I think it was 3 days, maybe 2 days before the concert, my mum missed a phone call because
Oh,
she was on the phone to her parents who live in Spain. And so it's important to her to have that time. And they left a voicemail. So afterwards, she listened to it. And it was somebody saying, hey, this is Shelley from Carrie Underwood's team, and blah, blah, blah. And they told her the news. And my mum screamed. And like, my mum never screamed. So I'm like, who died? I thought somebody died. And she's like, you got it. And I'm like, I got what? Because I wasn't thinking about it anymore. And she's like, you're going to sing with Carrie Underwood. And I was like, you are kidding me. It was 2 days away. And I just
I don't think you
rehearsed.
said. I don't think you said you are kidding me at that point. You probably didn't have other choice words at that moment.
I could not believe it, but I was so excited. I was elated because just a couple days before that, my dad had called us and he was in work. And he said, you had an email from Carrie Underwood's team. And me and my mum were like, oh my gosh, this is it. And he goes, you have a meet and greet. You want a meet and greet with her. And I was like, oh. And I didn't mean to seem so disappointed, but I thought it was the being on stage with her. And I was like, oh, and but it was just perfect from start to finish because we got there, and for the meet and greet, we went early, and they said, don't tell her that you're singing with her. And when somebody on Carrie Underwood's team tells you something, you just listen. So I was like, okay. But now looking back, obviously she would have known who was going to be on stage with her. So I walked in and they had like a whole camera crew, and they recorded my reaction to her saying, I'm singing with you later. And I just couldn't believe it. She was incredible and
That's
so
awesome.
down to earth and kind. And it was a night that I will never forget.
That's awesome. How exciting. That's
What a beautiful story.
That's a great story. I love that.
That's an awesome story.
I love that. That's so cool.
Thank you so
Very
much.
cool.
It was
Now in
just
2024, you had your music hit #1. What was the feeling at that moment?
I mean, pinch me. every or any time that a song that you wrote does something or achieves something that maybe you hadn't even thought about or maybe you just dreamt about, it's a feeling you can hardly describe. And that's my whole job, is to be able to describe things. And then I'm speechless. But yeah, for a song to go #1 on a radio chart or even on the iTunes charts where people are buying your music is just huge.
Overwhelming.
Yeah,
It
overwhelming.
is. Yeah. Good, great feeling.
Kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
The hard work pays off, you know.
Yes.
So what's next for Caitlin Mae?
So, I mean, I still have those huge dreams that I had at the beginning of my journey.
Well, why
I'm
wouldn't you?
always reaching for those
Yeah,
stars.
why
but
wouldn't you?
Exactly. And Nashville was a huge part of that. So moving to Nashville from the UK was such a huge leap, and a leap of faith too, because I came by myself. My parents are still in the UK. I tell people I lived at home with my parents up until the day I moved to Nashville. I didn't even know if I was capable of keeping myself alive. That's my mom. That's my mom's job. So I was like praying. I hope this goes well.
Yeah.
And I told my parents that I didn't wash my clothes. I just bought new clothes. I just buy new clothes. I was just kidding a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Was your mom and dad with you at the Troubadour? Was that your parents?
Her mom,
Dad?
Ellen.
my mum and my manager, my dad couldn't come this time,
Oh,
which
okay.
he did last year, but he didn't come for CMA Fest this year. He is going to come by himself in October, and I'm going to be going to Texas for the first time, and he's coming and he's going to share the driving with my manager, and I'm
What
excited to
part
see
of
him.
Texas?
Marshall, Texas, which my geography is not good. So
Sorry,
You got a gig there?
it's for the Texas Sounds Music Awards. So
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping everything crossed for that too.
Cool.
I've never been before, and yeah, I'm excited.
Texas is a good music state, man. There's a lot of good music there, man.
Yeah,
Make sure you get down to 6th Street. You know what I mean? Do that. It's like Nashville on steroids. Nashville's
Yeah.
not the only game in town. Remember that.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
big, it's a big world out there.
Yeah, and there are so many places in Texas I would like to go. I feel like Marshall is quite a small area, and it's probably not close to any of the large
It's by
cities.
Longview.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm a smart geography. I'm
She's like, Longview, where is that? Like,
like, oh yeah, I know.
Dallas.
Yeah. If you have a hit single, you'll be in every town and every city.
Yeah.
Trust me on that. You'll see it all. You'll see it all.
you know
That's
what?
the
Your
dream.
story reminds me of like a female version of like what Keith Urban went through. You
Yeah.
know? Even though
Yeah.
he's Australian, you know,
Right.
coming from across the pond to Nashville and knowing nobody and just showing up and being like crossing your fingers, being like, I'm gonna do this and let's do it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
And
awesome.
that is one heck of a ride, or like a story or journey to be like compared to in any way, because he's done so much. I love his music, and all the stories I hear about him are just incredible. People have had such good experiences with him, and that's so important.
Yeah.
Very.
Absolutely. So where can everybody find you on your socials?
You can find me across all social media platforms at Caitlin Mae Music. It's CAITLIN Mae MAE, because the most confusing way to spell Caitlin Mae is, and all music platforms at just Caitlin Mae.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, best of luck to you. You sounded great. Keep us posted on all your up and coming events, and we'd love to have you back on, and hopefully we'll see you again along the travels in the road here, and next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. This has been awesome. It's been so good to talk with you guys, and I'm grateful to be on the show.
Absolutely. We're excited and thankful to have you. So,
Thank you so much. See you really soon.
all right. Thank you,
Take care.
Bye,
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Take
Bye,
care.
honey.
Bye.
Bye. She's really good. I like her.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
she's so sweet.
She's special. She's got something special.
Yes.
She's got great music, a great voice. I love her accent, and
She's
I
got
love
great
the
attitude.
story
Great
that
attitude.
brought her to Nashville, all the way from South Wales.
Yes. Keith Urban's team needs to get under her.
Yes.
Yes,
If you're
I agree.
listening, jump on it.
Yes.
All
I
right,
love
so our next guest joining us today is an energetic, soulful singer and guitar slinger out of Texas with a sound that fuses blue rock, country, and everything in between. He shared stages with legends like Willie Nelson and Gary Allan and just made his CMA Fest debut. Please welcome Allan Hendrickson.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm relaxing.
You like my introduction for you?
That was great. I
That was a good intro, Roger. You're
never
hired.
heard it before.
Yeah.
I am. Thank you.
Come on down, Alan.
Right on. Everybody sounded amazing. It's kind of a hard act to follow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's really good. She's really good. Yeah.
I was jamming with everybody though. I might be able to play some solos along with y'all's stuff.
Right on, right on, right on.
You can do it. But you know what? You're a great act too. They always say
Oh,
the
yeah.
best for the last. So don't discredit yourself.
I appreciate that. Thank
No,
you.
he's killer.
Yes.
So what's up, Alan? What's going on? Where are you based out of, Alan?
San Antonio.
Oh, all
San
right.
Antonio.
I fly in there a lot. I work with some
Oh, right
guys.
on. Yeah.
I work with a rock band out there that I play a lot with. And
Oh,
we're
which
there
one?
a lot. Yep.
What band?
Anything but human.
Cool, man. Right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great music.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
spend a lot
used
of
to that,
time
that
there.
humidity's going on right now.
Ooh,
Ah!
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, gotta love it.
See your vocal warm-ups outside. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
So how do you compare Texas country to regular country?
It's funny that's such a hard thing. I've heard people say that Texas is a little more raw.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's really depends on what kind of music you come from, because there's a little more bluesy vibe going on
Yeah,
in today's
Definitely
country.
more of a bluesy thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I feel like that's where that raw vibe really comes from.
Mhm.
That just, I don't know, when I play country, even when it comes to studio stuff, I feel like Nashville, I don't think it's in a way to cut it down. I just feel like Nashville is a little bit more overproduced. So certain artists are a little bit more overproduced. Maybe if it's a little bit more pop vibe, depending on what you're doing. They say Texas country is a little bit more raw in that respect. But I mean, I've heard a lot of Texas artists that still have a lot of the Nashville vibe too. But again, I don't know, what is that Nashville vibe also, I feel like that's kind of where it goes. It just maybe stemming from that blues driven type deal.
It's kind of funny
I agree
because
with that.
I'm in Texas myself. I'm in Houston, H-Town. You find a lot of Texas artists are more independent artists. And you'll find that because there's, they have a Texas chart and then you have your Nashville chart. But you'll find what I did notice with Texas country is they sound just as amazingly awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like if you have George Strait or Carrie Underwood or, Brooks and Dunn on stage, Jelly Roll. I mean, they're the same exact quality of artists.
Yeah, I guess it really just comes down to really who's kind of working it in the studio too. It depends on what are your influences, what's driving you, I'm big into those I'd say maybe that old time blues rock kind of vibe, but I love that 90s country, so I probably wouldn't do too much in the studio overdone with the style that I'm kind of going towards.
Right.
But if I was more into today's vibe, I'd probably put a lot more onto the vocals. add a lot more tracks depending on what style I'm doing. I guess it really just depends on what you're
Right.
influenced.
Yeah.
It depends on what direction. But I
Yes.
feel like I agree with you. Texas is a little bit more down and dirty and sweaty and
Grit.
It is.
Great,
I mean,
for
listen,
sure.
South by Southwest was popping before Nashville blew up because I was playing the Exit in the late 80s. So
Right on.
Nashville's come a long way, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nashville of today is not the Nashville of what it was. So, and I also played South by Southwest years ago, and that's a whole different animal now too.
Totally.
So the take on the Texas is more, sweaty and bluesy and rock and more of a rocking kind of vibe. But like you're saying, Alan, it depends on what you're going for. You know what I mean?
Through that.
If you're doing a Florida Georgia Line, big pop rock record, love the band. Or if you're doing more of a, a different type of a Southern kind of country rock vibe, it just depends where you're going.
I find interesting that you're a fan of 90s R&B and Boys to Men.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Boys to Men.
So how did
Yeah.
that love of harmony
fucking
and soul influence your unique blend of country and blues rock?
So what's funny is that I wasn't even really a country fan growing up. I wasn't around it. My grandfather played a lot of mariachi, more Mexican type music. The kind of music that I listened to was hot on the radio was that 90s R&B. Shy, Boys to Men, As Yet, all those kind of guys. So I always loved that vocal harmony.
Me too. I'm a huge
The tonality, the pitch that those guys did. But there was just a vibe that was so cool. I thought it was kind of a sexy vibe as a singer. So I always loved that. So I think when it came down to there was a band called Lone Star.
great band.
That big
Great
song
band.
of the 90s, Amazed.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite songs. I remember I didn't have a band or nothing back then. I didn't even play guitar at that point. And I remember I used to sing around with this group called Naya. And that was a song that I had a backing track, karaoke track, sing with me when I was a kid. And I would just be singing that song everywhere I could. And that was one of my favorite songs. That song is what got me into country music, that kind of romantic vibe. But then I heard, going into the blues vibe, I heard Brad Paisley. And Brad Paisley was just a total different kind of monster when it came to that. To me, I heard the vocal amazing quality of Lone Star going into a picker's standpoint, from Brad Paisley just, doing these amazing guitar instrumentals, jamming, he was. It was like what I heard in the, when I got into more blues after that Stevie Ray Vaughan vibe, but in a country way of a singer that singer guitar player. So that made me want to be a guitar player. I saw him at the, I think it was 2001 maybe, the ACM Awards. ACM, I believe it was the ACM. He ended up playing Me Neither and We Danced. It was when he got the
CMA.
Verizon Award. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that show was it for me. After that, I begged my mom for a guitar, and I took me years. I mean, I was playing around with it. I had to keep rewinding the cassettes, but I learned how to play. I still don't know how to play any of his songs, to be honest. That guy is an amazing guitar player. But
I'm sorry.
Say
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. So you play electric, acoustic, fiddle, bass, piano, and mandolin.
Yes.
You're quite the musician.
I wish I could call myself that, but I feel like I'm still working at that. I dabble on instruments. I want to call it. There are just I went to CMA Fest recently. We got to play out there and just walking the strip. I mean, it's just you really get humbled very fast. Walking
a lot of great players. A lot of great players.
Yeah.
But
even in the airport. I mean, my flight out. This girl was, I went into Old Red in the Nashville airport.
There's so much talent. I know.
It's like everywhere you turn.
It's amazing talent too. It's amazing to come across that.
They have a saying that if you go to Nashville, your bartender can play like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I believe it.
I remember watching an interview with Kid Rock. He's like, dude, man, you go to any bar in Nashville and you just better hang on tight because they're just one ripping musician after another.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's what I love about
And-
the town. I love that about Nashville. That's the one thing I do love about Nashville is that there's fucking music everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's spectacular. I really do. But Texas has got a big music scene, man. A
Oh,
huge one.
totally.
Big
Oh
one.
yeah, it
Big
does.
one. Big one.
Absolutely. So you've released Alamosa and a self-produced country EP. What's your songwriting process like?
Honestly, I really just feel it. I try to go based on what's real to me, experiences I've gone through. Being a guitar player, a lot of times I like to play the riffs, or I'll come up with some kind of lead, and then from that I'll go into the putting the chords together. If I hear something cool, man, sometimes it's literally just the guitar I'm playing. There's I bought this guitar in Nashville. I just showed up to a guitar center and there was just something about this guitar that was just it's like the neck had a soul to it, so to speak. And I feel like it's guitars like that just kind of bring out a song, so to
Yeah.
speak.
That's this one for me.
Yeah.
That's this one for me.
But I put the
Magic.
melody from there, I feel like it's different because I'm a singer first, then I became a guitar player. So it's almost like two different perspectives of writing going into that. I'll write something from a more of a guitar player standpoint, more of a lead guitar player standpoint, and then I'll take it in from how I would have a vocal come in. And I feel like it's kind of different when you're a singer first, because you're hearing more of the melodic vibe when it comes to your melodies.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of intertwines with what you end up playing on guitar, or the kind of chords you end up going to based on that.
I do want to ask you about your experience with Willie Nelson and Gary Allan. But before we do that, I want to hear you.
Right on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Go
hear
for
it.
it.
Go on.
Put you up on the big screen here. Allan Hendrickson is our guest on the Roger the Wild Child show.
The song is called More Than a Best Friend. More than a best friend, she's a lover. My word, my dreams undercover. She's a fire that burns deep in my soul. Nothing won't when the world gets cold. More than a best friend. I've broken her heart. It's broken mine too. And at the end of the day, say I love you. Ain't nobody can come between us. And nothing more beautiful in this whole world. More than a best friend. It's raining. I'll be your shelter from the cold. Every day. For the rest of my life. It's raining. I'll be your shelter from the cold. Every day. for the rest of my life. More than a best friend in a lifetime. Years I have waited you to ride. More than a best friend. More than a best friend.
Wow.
All right,
That's
that was
awesome.
great, man. That was great. That was great,
Appreciate
man.
Awesome.
Thank
There
you.
you go,
I
man.
can totally
voice.
see that being a hit wedding song.
Oh
Yeah.
man, Heck, I
That's
appreciate
great.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
great.
That-
Yeah,
that's
it's a great
literally-
lyric.
That's literally what I wrote it for years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, I never used it
That's
at that, but
awesome.
I know how to pick them. I should have been an A&R.
Still can be.
Oh, that's
I appreciate
amazing.
it.
And you have a absolutely phenomenal voice, Alan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds
Appreciate it.
great. Sounds really, really
Yes, you
great.
do. So
Great
what was it
tune.
like opening up or playing with Willie Nelson and Gary Allan?
So I played on the side stage. So cool though, either way. So I played the beer garden out there. It's Whitewater Amphitheater is huge, but
Right.
I've done the pre-show. It's an honor in itself just to be a part of that in general. Though those two artists are, gosh, I mean, it just to be a part of the bill on that was incredible. I played the beer garden with my band, and we're pretty much there to kind of make sure we're holding everybody ready to go into the main concert.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
that-
gig, man. That's a good gig.
Yeah, no, honestly, like it's that those are to grace the main stage or to grace the beer garden stage, and that performance to me, there was no difference. It was so just an amazing experience to see him do his thing. Just to be around the company of people who truly appreciate the artistry and all that, you know. It was incredible. I mean, I kind of don't have words for that. It was a pleasure to be a part of it. Whitewater Amphitheater is probably one of the coolest venues to play at in Texas.
It's a good one.
It's huge, man.
Yeah, it's a good one,
It was just so huge, you know. Gary Allan, you know, that was amazing too. It's just class act with those guys. I got to hang around, you know, them when they were kind of hanging around backstage, and those guys. That's just an amazing team. Those are just the most.
What was it like hanging with them?
Oh, just so cool. They're probably some of the most humble musicians. It just the easiest. You know, I hear people have horror stories. You know, when you meet your heroes or you meet the team of the heroes, and no, it was a beautiful experience from the road crew to everybody setting up for the event, the management out there at Whitewater. It was such a blessing to be there.
That's amazing.
Cool. That's cool. Willie's a great. Willie and his crew are great, man. I had the pleasure of sharing a stage with him back in actually I played Woodstock with Willie Nelson.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I did. Well, he was one of the many, but I happened to be on stage with him, and then off stage with him and Ice Cube and Alanis Morissette, and it was a fun day until it got really terrible, but it was a great experience. But Willie was a class act. So Willie was set up with 2 tour buses. He had his crew in one bus, and he had his family in the other bus, and they roll out this whole family spread. And so it was quite, you know, and Metallica was right next to him, and Aerosmith was right next to him, and
wow,
it was fucking incredible. But
that's way cool.
That's just amazing.
Show. Yeah, man, but he himself is such a down to earth kind of guy, and he's just like a very matter of fact. And I jumped when we're done with our set. We jumped on, and we were right on stage with his set in front of 500,000 people. It was pretty badass. But
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, Alan, you performed everywhere from Sunset Station to CMA Fest in Nashville. What's the biggest difference between performing for the Texas crowd and the out-of-state crowd?
I mean, I guess I honestly, I'm not sure. I feel like it's people that have a love to listen for music. You know, they're gonna hang no matter what. They love what they hear. They're gonna hang. I loved going out to the Nashville bars and just, I mean, listening to them rip it. It's a similar Texas vibe. I feel like going from what I saw down in Nashville, you know, there's some bars that are more country influenced. They're the ones that are very rocked up. You know, I mean, it's amazing to walk past in general. I don't feel like any place really compares to the music scene in Nashville. I've never seen so many bands. I mean, it could have just been because it was CMA Fest, but I've never seen so many bands or so many venues that just had bands. You know, here's a window with a band, here's another window with a band, and it's like lined up like that, you know?
That's what it's like, yeah. And then you can
that's what it's like, no matter when it is. Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
You turn to the left and you're in front of one window, and then you turn to the right, you're in front of another window, and you know, you get two different music going on. It's just it's crazy, you know.
It's glorious. It's everywhere, you know. I feel like Texas is a little more intimate from that standpoint. You can go to Flores Country Store in Helotes, you know, but you're dedicated to going there when you're going there. You're going to Green Hall and New Braunfels. Whether it's anywhere around there, you know, there's a lot of places to play out in. There's Green Hall, and you go outside. There's the Grapevine, you know, which is more intimate, like acoustic vibe. But you know, going into Green Hall, there's just this historic vibe walking into there. You know, it's very intimate for what it is. I feel like that's it.
Yeah.
More of a listening crowd, so to speak. Dancers, you know, most of the places I play at in Texas, it's kind of a dance hall vibe, you know. A lot of two-stepping. You know, it's almost like your aim is to my aim as an artist in Texas a lot of the time, unless we're playing, you know, more concert-like stuff, is to keep people dancing. You know, and I feel like even in my own original stuff, that's kind of the vibe I wanna go to with that. Even if there's a sheet of people in the front of the stage, you know, to still have that two-step vibe that we get out of the dance halls. You know, you will hear that in Nashville, I feel, or at least on the Strip, at least at select spots. Because I was dancing in there. I brought my girl, and we were like one of the main ones dancing, like, you know, like you almost knew that we were from Texas vibe. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. You're having a party, man. I love that.
Yeah. Of course. And have you played at Moe's Place in Katy?
I have. I play guitar also for different artists. So when I'm not doing my own thing, you know, I'll be a hired gun for somebody and I'll learn their set.
Because I live right by Moe's Place, and that's my go-to bar.
Yeah, that's a really cool spot out in Katy.
Yeah.
I backed up
outside of Houston. Yeah.
What's that?
It's outside of Houston for the people who don't know.
Yeah, right on. I like that spot. I backed up Gabe Garcia. He's a country artist. He was on Nashville Star years ago on Miranda.
Yeah.
Oh God, that show! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
backed him memory lane.
I backed him up on guitar over there.
Nice, Tiana. Where did you come see us? Where did you come see me? And what that club was cool, Roger. What was it? The name of that place? I forgot.
Oh, we went to this before. We couldn't remember the venue name. Remember?
Yeah, Roger, what was the name of the? He probably played there
or something.
Something Ratter House or Cratter.
Is it a rodeo?
No.
It was an outdoor and an in. I was a cool venue.
Wildcatter Saloon.
That's it.
Yes.
You ever play there?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, you got to go play there. It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
It's an outside stage and an indoor spot.
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
Play inside.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it looks like they have like a built-in local crowd. So
Yeah, it was a good
every night,
stop. I was on
know?
I was on tour, and I thought it was a good spot. A little.
Where's it?
What's that?
Where's it located?
It's in
Katie,
Katy.
Oh, it's in Caden?
Mhm.
That's cool. I heard there's some cool spots out there.
It's a pretty
I don't
big
know.
venue too. It's a pretty big place. I mean, the outside probably. I mean, you could probably put 1,000 people out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, Tiana?
yeah,
Easily.
And the
I loved it. I thought it was awesome, especially
Yeah.
like, down
That was
south.
the
It was
section we
perfect.
were at. And then if you go across on the other side outside, there's a bigger stage with a bigger field.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was
Oh,
a pretty.
wow.
Yeah, you need to go there, dude.
Yeah.
And check that out.
That's
man.
cool. I'll check it out.
You got
For
need
sure.
to go check that out. Yeah, I think I played there during a week. It was a week. It was a weeknight, right? Tiana, was it a weeknight or a weekend? I
It
forget.
might have been a
It was a
weekend.
Friday night.
Was
I
it?
think.
Was it Friday
Yeah.
night?
Yeah,
Yeah, because then she went to New Orleans right after that.
Right, right.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was a little light outside, but then inside later on. So next time for play inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, but you need to go check that place out. I think
Yeah,
it's a
I'll
good
say
venue. It's a
yeah,
good
I'll
one.
definitely-
And then Katie got a new bar opened up called the Texas Rodeo Saloon.
Oh,
They're
cool.
supposed to have like one of the biggest dance floors in Texas. It gives like Billy Bob's a run for their money. So
Where's this at?
it's in Katy, Texas.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
It's across
I'll
the
look
street
into
from
that.
Mo's place.
Okay.
You ever play the rail?
I have it.
Hmm.
Do you know it?
But
know it?
plug my name. I'm down.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
All right, Alan, give us your socials. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on all socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. It's facebook.com/Allan Hendrickson Music. ALLAN Hendrickson. HENDRICKSON Music.
Fantastic. And you have a new single out?
I do. It's called More Than I Ever Was.
Okay. And you have an EP out or a single?
I single out. I'm gonna be. I'm in the studio right now working on some new tracks. So
Okay, cool.
I'll probably be releasing it probably within the month.
All
That's
right,
amazing.
right on.
That's awesome.
It's a singles world anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You got time. You got time. Awesome, man. So and you'll post your show dates. Do you play a lot live?
I do. Yeah. I typically post most spots where I'm at.
Cool. Well, the best of luck. You sound great.
Thank you so
and,
much.
Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank
All
you
right,
so
thank
much.
you, Alan.
Yeah, have a good
Yes.
one.
Have a good night.
Have a great night.
See ya.
Bye-bye now.
Oh,
Wow.
you know what? I forgot to tell him. I was like, since he's a big fan of Boys to Men, he should do a Boys to Men country cover.
Yeah.
Oh, let's bring him back on. You can tell him he's still
Yeah.
there.
Did you hear that?
I heard that. I totally will.
Yo,
With your
who
voice.
was it? Was it NSYNC and Rascal Flatts? What a fucking version of that song. One of my favorite songs.
God must have spent a little more time on
Yeah, I
you.
must have spent a little more time on you. It was them in Alabama.
Rascal Flatts and
Rascal
NSYNC just did it.
They did that. Wow.
They just did a cover of what was the big song? Oh my god, I covered it myself. I can't think of the name of it. What is the name of it? One of Rascal Flatts.
Wait. Was it Rascal Flatts and the Jonas Brothers?
Was it Jonas Brothers?
I heard. I was on my
No,
way.
they did a live. NSYNC did a live thing with. Well, yes,
What year was this? Is this when NSYNC
just
was
now.
big?
Just now.
Oh, just now?
Just now.
Yeah, I heard
Rascal
it.
Flatts has a cover out. Like all these artists are redoing the.
I know
Mine-
Gary LaVox and Akon did a song.
Oh, is it This I Promise You?
I thought it was an original song. I didn't know it was a cover.
No, it was one of their tunes, man. I'm drawing a blank. I don't want to misinform
That's
you.
cool.
I just saw NSYNC play one of Rascal Flatts' big hits with Rascal Flatts, and it was fucking phenomenal.
That's cool.
Hmm.
You gotta-
It was
gotta love
really
the
good.
harmony.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
there you
totally do a Boyz II Men cover. I love that. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Do a country version. And Tiana, we're on to something here. We're gonna
There
produce
you go.
both these two, right?
All the hits in countrified. Go
Yeah.
countrified, and then do everyone gets on the cover bit.
Yeah, countrified. Yeah.
I love it.
I see Backstreet Boys and Rascal Flatts.
That's
doing
it.
a song.
Please.
What was it? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was Backstreet Boys. What
Okay.
song?
What was the song?
It's What Hurts.
Yes.
What hurts the most?
Yeah,
That's a great
Yeah.
song.
Backstreet Boys doing what hurts
They
the most.
killed it. I'm sorry, I was incorrect. Not in sync. Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Forgive me.
I haven't heard it.
That
How
just happened.
dare you.
It is so good. It is so good. And if you look it up on YouTube, watch it live. They just crushed it live.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sure that was amazing. That's a lot of harmonies. That's awesome.
That's a lot of harm. But
That song
I mean,
already is great.
you know, Rascal
Even
Flatts.
without-
That's one of my favorite bands. I really love those guys, man, because Gary just knows how to. They really just know how to ride the line of country, rock, and pop. They really just ride it because they're like legit when they're recordings. You know, they're not programming drums; they're playing drums. They're not programming shit; they're playing everything live. But yet, when you hear them live, the band's really kick ass live.
They're amazing musicians.
Yeah, that's the key. You know what I mean? They're not a track act. And I'm not taking anything away from track acts because I love track music. And
Of course not. You would never do that in a million years.
But you could see the bands. It's just a different level, man. It's just it's really obvious. It's clear as day obvious. You know what I mean? And they're one of them, right, Tiana?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
there's something to be said about a bass player and a drummer and a guitar player ripping it the fuck up like when they're locked in. There's no track that competes with that. In my eyes.
In together, boom, it's magic.
Yeah.
That's your rhythm section. I mean, have amazing vocals with a tight rhythm section. That's unbeatable. That's amazing.
Don't get me wrong, man. I love stuff that's locked on the grid, but I also like stuff that breathes. I like stuff that moves back and forth. I like the little bit of imperfection and stuff. I mean, we're creating. I mean, you're writing and producing too. It's just like we're living in a perfect world. It's nobody's fault. It's just Pro Tools, man. It's just the way things are. It's the way things are recorded. Years ago, you would start off the click and then just drop it, and the band would just fucking record because the band was that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Today, it's just that's the way it is, and it creates a different variety, a vibe. But I'm noticing that, I keep saying this, and I've talked to some A&R people, at my publishing company, and it's getting back to more, real instruments. So just think about that and keep that in the back of your head. Not that people aren't tracking over real instruments, but I'm talking like live drums and bass and guitar where, I program myself. So I'm not taking anything away from it, but more authentic, real sounds are coming back.
Oh yeah.
And
I feel like that's where that raw quality comes in because people want to hear, the way, not necessarily just the guitar sound, but they want to hear, the fingers on the neck.
Yeah.
That kind of in-depth raw sound. That's what when I think of raw, or not being as produced, I think of the lack of the tuning so much. A lot of people do that. We all still kind of tune up a little bit. It may not be completely auto tune, but it might be to a point where let's tweak that, let's tweak this, right? But there's a beauty in hearing somebody not quite hit the note, but then the struggle it takes to actually, they finally do. You're almost worried they're not going to hit it, but then they do. And the reality is that perfect track you might have heard, there was probably more beauty in the struggle to hit the note than there was to actually hit, with the auto tune or whatever, to do that,
I 100% good analogy. Auto tune is just like, if you got a great tune, if you got to, just to touch it up, it's like a cherry on, it should be used as a cherry on top. Now there's a thing, if you want that effect, that's another thing. But if you got a great performance and you just, got to sprinkle some of that on, game on,
Yeah.
I mean,
I call it hearing the human.
What's that?
I call it hearing the human.
Yeah. Listen, man, technology today in the recording world is just amazing, man. I think it's just amazing, man. So, there's some plugins now that are so good, man. It's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell the difference, but that kind of dictates how the vocals are going to lay down. That to me is a springboard of how vocalists sing their songs,
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we live in a perfect world where everything is perfectly digital. We don't listen to big stereo systems anymore. We listen to earbuds. All our music's on our phone. It's just a different world. It's not a bad world. It's just a different world. You know what I mean?
Different
That's
one,
all.
yeah.
You know, but when you're playing live, that's when you could really let it fucking rip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of, because that's where bands make the most money live.
Let
You
the
know?
sweat fly.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to separate the the men from the boys, or the women from the little girls, right?
Yep.
Well, it's whether or not you can really do what you recorded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when you go in the studio and this track sounds great in this key, and you're like, fuck, how am I going to sing this every night? You know what I mean? I can't believe I did that to myself. And a lot of people do that to themselves because it's just like, I got the capo on and I'm up here, and then now you got to do it 200 nights a year. And you're like, fuck me, man. You know what I mean? So, then you're tuning down live and all that stuff. But
and they're like,
I
wait,
miss a
you
lot of
didn't hit my favorite note. What was that about?
Yeah.
I can't play half the solos I do when I'm recording live, just because I don't. It's a different feel. Just all of a sudden having to go to that note to make that bend, in key.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, and you're also, it's a different energy. You're like, when you're in a studio, you're focused and you're playing. When you're live, and if you're playing a full house, there's that energy. So you're playing off the energy, and you're going to play different. You're going to hit that. You're going to hit it a little harder. You're going to, you know what I mean. You're going to bend it a little. You know what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah.
When you know.
Right. Exactly. All right, Alan. Thank you again. Thanks for coming back on and popping on, sticking around for the extra chat.
Bye, Alan.
All right, Alan. Take care. Good show, guys.
Great one.
Awesome. Great talent, as always.
Yeah, they're amazing. Both of them.
So excited. Great show.
Yeah, great. Wish them a lot of luck. They're really, really talented.
And we will be back next Wednesday night. I will be in my Vegas studios then. And Tiana will be in Cali. And wherever in the world Patrick is going to be, we don't know.
Where in the world is Patrick James? I'm going to give you like a red big hat and be like, today I'm in.
Well, I know the week after next I'll be in Indiana playing Summer Bash.
Fun stuff.
And then we go back to Texas to cut a video for Anything But Humans' first single.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's going on.
That's awesome.
The second next Wednesday isn't that the day before the 4th?
No, the 4th is on a Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. The 4th of July is a Friday, so we will be on the 2nd.
Yeah, I might be doing my podcast in the car, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Alrighty. Like I said, Patrick's always on the road. I have 2 spots. I'm either in Vegas or Texas.
You travel as much as I do, dude.
Yeah, but I only go to 2 spots and an occasional Nashville trip.
Hey, at least you're not live from the bathroom like I was.
So wait a minute. You tuned in. Where were you at? PF Chang's? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, I was having dinner, and Ron was like, "Get on!" I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. We were doing the live broadcast from John Bon Jovi's. I sent her the link to log in, and we couldn't hear her because we couldn't get the audio to work. But she was in the bathroom at PF Chang's.
I love PF Chang's.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's great. One of my favorites. Yeah.
But you're a trooper, though. I mean, you're like, you weren't like,
you tried.
No, I'm having dinner. You're like, all right, I don't care.
You call me, I'm here. I'm your girl,
Right.
They're funny.
Anything to get the job done. That's what I say.
Yeah, right. That's why I have the greatest team on earth.
That's it.
All right, guys.
Great job.
We'll see you guys all next Wednesday night. I'll tell you who I have booked if you guys want to know. For our next episode, we have Jimmy Bowen and Troy Castellano.
All right.
So,
nice.
All right, fantastic.
We'll see you all
Awesome.
next Tuesday.
Yep. We'll see you on the flip side.
Peace out.